Parshas Behaalotecha teaches us the story of the Yidden as they moved around in the Midbar, and we know that throughout the 40 years they moved around a lot. They were in a lot of different places, and it was very random. Like the pasuk itself says, "Al pi Hashem Yisrael b'nei Yisrael, al pi Hashem Yachnu," that it was according to the word or the will of Hashem when it was decided when they would move and when they would stay in one place. And the Torah explains how this worked. There was the Ananei Kavod, there was the clouds of glory, and the clouds of glory rested on the Mishkan. When the clouds of glory was resting on the Mishkan, everybody knew that they were staying here. If the cloud of glory, if the Ananei Kavod rose and started to move, then they knew that they had to move. Sometimes, says the pasuk itself, sometimes it was for many, many days in one place, and it didn't move. And sometimes in one day or in 2 days, the cloud settled in one place, and they set up camp, and then the next day they had to move to another place. The Ramban says that we can see from the Psukim that it was extremely random. Sometimes they would find themselves in a place which was completely open and completely deserted in the desert, and they would settle there and they would think that, oh, this is not a place where we're going to stay for a long time, and they were prepared to move. But that didn't happen. The Ananei Kavod stayed there for a long time. And then sometimes, on the other hand, they would come to a place where there was an oasis, there was trees, and they would think, oh, this is a good place to stay. And yet the next day, the Ananei Kavod, the clouds of glory, moved, and they had to move again. What was the point of this? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu set up the system in such a way that it was so random and so unknown if they would stay there and they would have to move? Rabbi Friend from Baltimore, in one of his books, he quotes Rav Dessler, and Rav Dessler explains this point as follows: when a person is trying to do what he's supposed to do, he's serving Hashem, he's doing mitzvahs, he's learning Torah, he's davening, there's always going to be something that's going to disturb him. And if he's always disturbed easily, he'll always find an excuse why he couldn't come to davening today. It was difficult today, kids were acting up. Why he couldn't learn? It was hard, he had a hard day at work, he had to relax. There's always going to be something that he'll be able to blame for the fact that he's not serving Hashem to his fullest capacity. And what HaKadosh Baruch Hu was teaching Klal Yisrael in the Midbar was that you always have to be focused on serving Hashem no matter what is going on around you. Of course, there's situations that there's einus, situations where a person is not able to serve Hashem, but a person should be focused that no matter what happens, he has a focus, he has a goal, he has a daily goal, he has a monthly goal. He knows that he has to do something every day no matter what happens around him. It is said over that the great Rav Chaim of Brisk, when his son was younger, the future Rav Velvel of Brisk, when his son was younger, so he had this pattern where he would start learning something with his son, and they would get very deeply involved in some sort of matter, in some sort of Gemara or some sort of halacha, and then all of a sudden, right in the middle, he would say, "Oh, Velvel, go tell this person that give over a message to so and so, and then come back." Rav Velvel would go, and then he would come back, and they would continue where they left off. And sometimes it was very difficult to readjust, to come back to where they were up to. And Rav Chaim did this several times, and he explained to his son, he said, one day you're going to be a Rav, and a Rav is always busy with something. Something's always going to be battling for your attention. So you have to be able to be used to the fact and get used to the fact, and that in order to be connected always to learning Torah, you have to be connected in such a deep way that nothing can take you away from that attention and from being focused on the fact what you're doing right now at this moment. And even if you're going to have to take a break and go do something else, but your mind should be able to bounce back right away and be able to once again be focused in your learning Torah. So whether it's the Rav of Brisk or whether it's anybody, but a person should always understand that there's always going to be something that's going to disturb and going to battle for his attention. A person has to be focused on what he's doing, on his main objective goal in life is to serve Hashem, to be able to daven, to learn Torah, and in that way, even when things come up and things battle for his attention, he'll be able to be focused on his main goal of serving Hashem. That's the message of the Nesiyos, of the moving around, the movements of the seemingly random movements in the Midbar, says Rav Dessler, was all to train Klal Yisrael for their future lives in Eretz Yisrael and beyond, so that they'll be able to always be focused on Avodas Hashem. Good Shabbos. Please don't forget to subscribe. You'll get the video every week by subscribing. Put a like. Thank you very much. Good Shabbos.